The United States of America quarter dollar dated 1979 with the inscription Liberty, and the D mint mark is a representative and historically meaningful issue of the long-running Washington Quarter Series, struck at the Denver Mint, whose identifying D mint mark appears on the obverse just to the right of George Washington's ponytail ribbon. This coin belongs to the post-silver, modern-clad era of U.S. coinage, a period that reflects major economic, technological, and social transitions in the United States. By 1979, the quarter dollar had been produced in copper-nickel clad composition for 14 years, following the 1965 removal of silver from circulating quarters due to rising bullion prices and hoarding. The Washington quarter design itself, created by sculptor John Flanagan, had already been in continuous use since 1932, originally issued to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth, and by the late 1970s it had become one of the most instantly recognizable coins in American daily life, symbolizing stability and continuity amid change. The obverse of the 1979 D quarter presents the familiar left-facing bust of George Washington, modeled after Jean-Antoine Houdon's famous life portrait sculpture. Washington's expression is calm and resolute, reflecting Enlightenment ideals of rational leadership and civic virtue. Above his head arcs the word Liberty, a central pillar of American political philosophy and national identity, while to the left of his neck appears, "In God We Trust," the national motto formally mandated on U.S. coins in the mid-20th century. Below the portrait is the date, 1979, marking the final year of the decade and placing the coin in a period characterized by economic inflation, energy shortages, and shifting global dynamics during the Cold War. The D mint mark signifies production at the Denver Mint in Colorado, which by this time was one of the primary facilities responsible for meeting the enormous demand for circulating coinage across the western and central United States. The reverse of the 1979 D quarter retains the traditional heraldic bald eagle design that had appeared on Washington quarters since 1932 and would continue until 1998. The eagle, wings spread wide, clutches a bundle of arrows symbolizing national defense and preparedness, while olive branches beneath represent peace, reflecting the enduring American ideal of strength balanced by diplomacy. Above the eagle is the Latin motto E pluribus unum, out of many, one, emphasizing unity among the states and the federal nature of the republic. Encircling the design are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar, clearly identifying the issuing nation and denomination. By 1979, this reverse design had become deeply familiar to Americans, reinforcing a sense of continuity even as the nation faced rapid social and economic change. Technically, the 1979 D Washington quarter is composed of a copper-nickel clad structure, with outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, resulting in an overall composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and features a reeded edge designed both to deter counterfeiting and to provide tactile distinction from other denominations. This durable composition allowed the quarter to withstand heavy circulation, an essential requirement during an era when quarters were heavily used in vending machines, laundromats, parking meters, payphones, and public transportation systems. The historical context of 1979 adds depth to the significance of this coin. The United States was experiencing persistent inflation, high interest rates, and the effects of the second major oil crisis, which led to fuel shortages and long lines at gas stations. Internationally, tensions of the Cold War continued, and domestically, American society was undergoing cultural shifts in technology, labor, and lifestyle. In this environment, the quarter dollar remained a constant presence in everyday transactions, quietly supporting commerce while embodying national symbols that had endured for generations. The 1979 D quarter circulated during a time when Americans were increasingly reliant on coin-operated services, making it one of the most actively used coins of its era. From a mintage standpoint, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters dated 1979, ensuring ample supply for circulation. This high production level means that the 1979 D quarter is common today, particularly in circulated condition, and it is still occasionally encountered in pocket change. Despite its abundance, it holds importance within the Washington Quarter Series as a standard circulation issue from the late 20th century and as part of complete date and mint collections assembled by collectors. In numismatic terms, the 1979 D quarter is generally valued at face value when circulated, but examples in uncirculated condition can command modest premiums, especially those with strong luster, minimal contact marks, and sharp strikes. Coins professionally graded MS 65 or higher are more desirable and may be worth significantly more than face value. Collectors also seek out error varieties, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, or missing clad layers, which are much scarcer and can be worth many times the value of a normal example depending on condition and severity. Culturally and educationally, the 1979 D Washington Quarter serves as a tangible artifact of late 1970s America, illustrating how long-standing national symbols were maintained even as the country faced economic challenges and social change. For collectors, it represents a necessary component of Washington quarter sets and a clear example of Denver Mint production quality. For historians and enthusiasts, it demonstrates how everyday objects like coins can reflect broader historical narratives. In conclusion, while the 1979 D United States quarter dollar may not be rare or highly valuable, it is rich in historical context, symbolic meaning, and practical significance, standing as a durable reminder of American identity, resilience, and continuity at the close of a pivotal decade. Next, top 2. The United States of America quarter dollar bearing the dual date 1776 to 1976, with no mint mark, is one of the most historically significant and widely collected modern U.S. coins, struck to commemorate the bicentennial of American independence, marking 200 years since the Declaration of Independence in 1776. This special quarter belongs to a unique, one-time commemorative coinage program authorized by the U.S. Congress in 1973, allowing the U.S. Mint to temporarily alter the reverse designs of the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar to celebrate the bicentennial. Unlike regular circulating commemoratives of earlier eras, these coins were produced for everyday circulation, ensuring that nearly every American would encounter the bicentennial celebration in their daily lives. The no mint mark example indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally omitted mint marks on circulating coins at that time, with limited exceptions in earlier decades. Although dated 1776 to 1976, these quarters were actually minted in 1975 and 1976, as no quarters dated 1975 exist. The dual date replaced the single year during the bicentennial production period. The obverse, front, of the coin retains the classic portrait of George Washington, originally designed by sculptor John Flanagan and first introduced on the Washington Quarter in 1932, honoring the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. Washington is depicted facing left, with strong neoclassical features, symbolizing leadership, restraint, and republican virtue. The word liberty arches prominently across the top, representing one of the most enduring ideals of the United States, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," appears to the left of Washington's neck. The dual date, 1776 to 1976, is placed below the portrait, visually anchoring the coin's commemorative purpose by linking the nation's founding year with its bicentennial milestone. On Philadelphia minted examples, no mint mark appears beneath Washington's ponytail, which is the key diagnostic feature distinguishing them from Denver D or San Francisco S issues. The obverse design remained unchanged from the standard Washington quarter except for the dual date, emphasizing continuity between America's past and present. The reverse, back, of the coin is entirely new and was selected through a national design competition, a rare event for U.S. circulating coinage. The winning design was created by Jack L. Ahr, a talented sculptor and engraver whose work captured the spirit of the Revolutionary era without resorting to portraits of specific individuals. The reverse features a colonial drummer, symbolizing the citizen soldiers of the American Revolution, with a victory torch encircled by 13 stars representing the original 13 colonies. This imagery evokes themes of unity, sacrifice, vigilance, and the collective effort required to secure independence. The inscriptions "United States of America" and "quarter dollar" surround the design, affirming the coin's legal tender status, while "E pluribus unum," out of many one, appears above the drummer, reinforcing the message of national unity that was especially meaningful during the 1970s, a period marked by social change, political tension, and the aftermath of the Vietnam War. From a technical and metallurgical standpoint, the 1776 to 1976 no mint mark quarter is composed of the standard copper-nickel-clad alloy used for U.S. quarters since 1965, consisting of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel overall, bonded over a pure copper core. The coin has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a reeded edge, all consistent with regular Washington quarters of the era. These specifications ensured compatibility with vending machines and circulation systems while maintaining continuity in everyday commerce. In addition to the clad circulation strikes, special 40% silver versions of the bicentennial quarter were struck at the San Francisco Mint for collectors, But these silver issues always carry an S mint mark and were not released for general circulation, making the no mint mark Philadelphia coin exclusively a base metal issue. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced an extraordinarily large quantity of bicentennial quarters, with over 800 million examples struck across 1975 and 1976, making this one of the most widely minted commemorative coins in world history. This massive production was intentional, as the U.S. Mint aimed to ensure that the bicentennial celebration reached every corner of the nation through circulating coinage. As a result, the 1776 to 1976 no mint mark quarter remains very common today, even in uncirculated condition, and is frequently found in pocket change decades later. Despite its abundance, it holds enduring appeal due to its historical context and distinctive reverse design, which sets it apart from all other Washington quarters. From a historical perspective, the bicentennial quarter reflects a moment when the United States sought to reaffirm its founding ideals during a challenging era. The 1970s were marked by economic inflation, the Watergate scandal, and shifting global dynamics, and the bicentennial served as a unifying national celebration that looked back to the revolutionary generation for inspiration. The decision to feature a drummer rather than a political leader underscored the idea that independence was achieved by ordinary citizens working together, not solely by famous figures. This democratic symbolism resonated deeply with the public and contributed to the coin's popularity. In numismatics, the 1776 to 1976 no mint mark quarter occupies a unique position. While it is generally not rare or highly valuable in circulated grades, it is essential to complete Washington quarter collections and bicentennial typesets. Typical circulated examples are worth face value, while uncirculated coins may command modest premiums depending on condition, luster, and strike quality. Coins graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services can be worth more, particularly if they display sharp details and strong eye appeal. Error varieties, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or missing clad layers, are actively sought by specialists and can be significantly more valuable, though they are relatively scarce. Culturally, the bicentennial quarter has transcended its monetary role to become a symbol of American heritage. It is often saved as a keepsake by those who lived through the bicentennial celebrations, parades, fireworks, and educational programs of 1976. For younger collectors, it often serves as an entry point into U.S. coin collecting, sparking interest in history, design, and minting technology. Its continued circulation reinforces the idea that money can serve as a living historical document, carrying national memory from one generation to the next. In conclusion, the 1776 to 1976 United States quarter dollar with no mint mark is far more than an ordinary coin. It represents a deliberate fusion of history, art, and everyday life, commemorating 2 centuries of American independence through a design accessible to all citizens. Though common in quantity, its significance lies in its message, its moment in history, and its role as the only Washington quarter ever struck with a dual date and a temporary commemorative reverse. For collectors, historians, and the general public alike, this coin next top 3. The United States of America quarter dollar dated 1974 with the word Liberty, and no mint mark is a classic example of the long-running Washington quarter series, representing a significant transitional period in American monetary, economic, and social history. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the absence of a mint mark, following the long-standing Philadelphia tradition of producing circulating coins without mint identifiers, a practice that would later change. Issued during the mid-1970s, the 1974 quarter reflects a United States still adjusting to the end of the silver coinage era, which had concluded less than a decade earlier in 1965 when rising silver prices forced the government to replace precious metal circulating coins with copper-nickel-clad compositions. By 1974, Americans had fully accepted base metal coinage, and the quarter dollar had become an essential workhorse of daily commerce, widely used in transportation, vending machines, parking meters, and retail transactions. The obverse, front, of the 1974 no mint mark quarter features the enduring portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States, sculpted by John Flanagan, whose design was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. Washington is shown facing left, his hair tied in a colonial-style queue, conveying dignity, stability, and Republican restraint, qualities the nation wished to associate with its leadership and institutions. The inscription Liberty curves boldly across the upper rim, a foundational concept of American identity, while the national motto, In God We Trust, appears to the left of Washington's profile, reflecting the religious and moral sentiment officially adopted on U.S. coinage in the mid-20th century. Beneath Washington's portrait appears the date 1974, anchoring the coin firmly in a decade marked by economic uncertainty, political change, and cultural transformation. On Philadelphia minted examples, there is no mint mark beneath the ponytail, distinguishing them from Denver minted quarters, which carry a D. The reverse, back, of the 1974 quarter displays the traditional heraldic bald eagle, a powerful national symbol representing strength, independence, and vigilance. The eagle is shown with wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows to symbolize military readiness and national defense, while olive branches below represent peace, together conveying the enduring American ideal of seeking peace but being prepared for conflict. Above the eagle appears the Latin motto E pluribus unum, out of many, one, emphasizing unity among the states, while the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar frame the design, clearly identifying the issuing authority and denomination. This reverse design had been standard on Washington quarters since 1932 and would remain in use until 1998, making the 1974 quarter part of a long, continuous visual tradition familiar to generations of Americans. From a technical standpoint, the 1974 no-mint mark quarter is composed of a copper-nickel-clad structure, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, resulting in an overall composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and features a reeded edge with approximately 119 reeds. These standardized specifications ensured uniformity, durability, and compatibility with coin-operated machines, which had become increasingly important in American daily life by the 1970s. The absence of precious metal reflects the economic realities of the era, as inflation and global metal markets made silver coinage impractical for circulation. Historically, the year 1974 was a turbulent and transformative period in the United States. The nation was grappling with high inflation, rising unemployment, and the lingering effects of the 1973 oil crisis, which had dramatically increased fuel prices and disrupted economic stability. Politically, 1974 was marked by the Watergate scandal and the resignation of President Richard Nixon in August, an unprecedented event that deeply affected public trust in government institutions. Against this backdrop, the 1974 quarter circulated as a quiet but constant presence in Americans' daily lives, passing through countless hands in an era of change and uncertainty. Coins like this one became silent witnesses to history, embedded in the routines of a society navigating both hardship and resilience. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters dated 1974, making the no-mint mark variety very common. The high mintage numbers reflect the quarter's heavy use in commerce and the growing demand for small change during a time when urbanization, public transportation, and automated services were expanding. As a result, the 1974 Philadelphia quarter is still frequently encountered today in circulated condition. Its abundance means it is not rare, but its historical placement within the Washington Quarter series gives it enduring relevance for collectors and historians alike. From a numismatic perspective, the 1974 no-mint mark quarter is typically valued at face value when circulated, but examples in uncirculated condition can command modest premiums, particularly those with strong luster, minimal contact marks, and sharp strikes. Coins graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services are more desirable and can be worth significantly more than face value, especially if they exhibit exceptional eye appeal. Error coins, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, or missing clad layers, are actively sought after and can be worth many times the value of a normal example, depending on severity and rarity. Culturally and educationally, the 1974 Washington Quarter serves as an accessible entry point into U.S. coin collecting. Many collectors begin by assembling date and mint sets of Washington quarters, and the no-mint mark Philadelphia issues are essential components of these collections. The coin also illustrates the evolution of American coinage from precious metal to modern alloys, reflecting broader economic trends and government policy decisions. Its familiar design fosters continuity, linking earlier generations who used silver quarters with later generations who grew up using clad coinage. In summary, the 1974 United States quarter dollar with no mint mark is a historically rich yet widely available coin that embodies the economic realities, artistic traditions, and cultural atmosphere of mid-1970s America. While modest in monetary value, it holds substantial historical and educational significance, representing a mature phase of the Washington Quarter Series and a nation navigating change while maintaining continuity in its symbols and institutions. For collectors, it is a foundational piece. For historians, a tangible artifact of its time. And for the public, a reminder that even ordinary coins can carry extraordinary stories of a nation's past.